This program provides education, not advice. Sponsors pay a fee for endorsements and interviews. See the truthayf.com disclosure page for details.
This is where technology, innovation, and personal finance come together.
This is The Truth About Your Future with Rick Edelman. Brought to you by Global X ETFs, dedicated to providing investors with unexplored intelligent solutions, and by Invesco QQQ. Anyone can become an agent of innovation with Invesco QQQ. Invesco Distributors, Inc.
It's Wednesday, December 20th. Yesterday, I told you some people might be making a big mistake because they're listening to Dave Ramsey's advice and they're expecting 12% annual returns from their portfolio because that's what Dave's telling them to expect. And they're doing what Dave's telling them to do, withdrawing 8% per year from their portfolios in retirement. You do that, you're going to run out of money long before you die. If you missed the show yesterday, the link to it's in the show notes. Today, I want to tell you of another mistake that a lot of people are also making. And here, I think I might have some culpability. If you've been listening to me for the past few decades, you know how focused I am on the future. Over the past decade in particular, with the advent of computer technology, we're seeing remarkable innovations that when I first started talking about all this with you, I said they were going to transform every aspect of life on the planet. Now, here in the middle of the 2020s, we're already seeing these transformations on a daily basis. I'm talking about exponential technologies, nanotech, biotech, bioinformatics, 3D printing, big data, fintech, agtech, edtech, neuroscience. I've been telling you about these investment opportunities and the ETFs available that invest in these sectors from Invesco, Global X, Franklin Templeton, Bitwise, iShares, and BlackRock, and how you can capitalize on the investments designed to profit from these innovations. And today, I'm still a very firm believer in all of these investment opportunities. The categories are quite extensive. Agtech, fintech, edtech, blockchain and digital assets, aerospace, AI, water, leisure and entertainment, biotech, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, robotics, lithium and battery technology, autonomous and electric vehicles, cybersecurity, cloud computing, the Internet of Things, video games and esports, genomics and biotechnology, e-commerce, telemedicine, solar, wind, the metaverse. The list goes on and on. It's quite a list. And I've suggested that this category should be overweighted in your stock allocation inside your long-term diversified portfolio. And many of you, I know, because you're devoted, loyal listeners of this program, you're acting on the education and information that I've provided. But here's the problem. According to new research, people who have been buying these ETFs have missed 2/3 of the returns. Over the past 5 years through 2022, these investments earned 7.3% per year, but investors only earned 2.4% per year. How could that be? If you buy a fund that earns 7, how can you only be earning 2? It's because of when you bought it and when you sold it. You see, the data that I just shared with you, that these investments on average have earned 7.3% a year, that assumes that you owned it on January 1 and you still owned it on December 31. But that's not what a lot of investors do. They buy it at some point during the year and then they sell it at some other point during the year, typically buying it when the price is higher, selling it when the price is lower. In other words, investors are notorious for buying high and selling low. Because you buy these investments after they already went up in price and you sold them before they went up even further, you've missed out on most of the gains that these investments have produced. Here's one example from Morningstar. Energy ETFs. Energy is a really big deal. Solar, wind, water, geothermal. This is a huge area of technological innovation. These ETFs, on average over the past 5 years, have earned 14% a year. But the average investor of those funds has made only 2.1% per year. You've missed out on almost 12% per year because of your lousy short-term timing. So please, do me a favor. Strike that. Do yourself a favor. If you're going to invest in the types of categories that I've been talking with you about, then you've got to do 2 things, not just one thing. The one thing that you know is to invest in them. But that's not the only thing you've got to do. You've also got to do the second thing. Once you invest in them, you've got to keep them. The development of these technologies is something that's coming over the next 10 and 20 years, not the next 10 and 20 weeks. Buy and hold. You've heard that refrain before, haven't you? It's especially true with Exponential Technologies ETFs. I'm as bullish as ever on this sector, and I love today's prices. Either do it right or don't do it. You know, we've been talking about the fact that we're anxiously awaiting the SEC's decision coming any day, no later than January 10, just a couple of weeks from now, regarding approval of the new spot Bitcoin ETFs. There's a lot of anticipation about this. I just have a simple question for you as a financial advisor. Are you able to answer your clients' questions about Bitcoin? Can you explain to them what it is? What is blockchain? Why should they care? What are these new spot Bitcoin ETFs? Should they invest? How much should they invest? Which one should they invest in? You need to be able to answer their questions, and that means you need to prepare now before these ETFs hit the marketplace. Right now is the perfect opportunity for you to get certified in blockchain and digital assets. Get your CBDA professional designation. It's listed in the FINRA database of professional designations. Online self-study course. You can binge it in a weekend. You can take it over a couple of weeks. It'll give you the knowledge you need to be able to help your clients when these new spot Bitcoin ETFs become available. The link to learn more is in the show notes.
Looking to add AI to your portfolio? Consider the Global X Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF, ticker BOTZ. This ETF invests in companies harnessing robotics and AI disruption across a range of sectors like industrials, healthcare, and more. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Technology companies can be affected by rapid product obsolescence and intense industry competition. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in the full or summary prospectus at globalxetfs.com. Read carefully. Distributed by SEI Investments Distribution Company.
Support for Rick Edelman's podcast comes from Invesco QQQ. Meet Henry, an everyday person who enjoys reading science fiction, keeping in shape at the gym, and spending time with family. He also participates in progress by investing in a fund that supports innovative ideas. Invesco QQQ ETF allows you access to innovators of the NASDAQ 100, so you don't have to be a rocket scientist to help push progress forward. Anyone can become an agent of innovation. Learn more at Invesco.com/QQQ. There are risks when investing in ETFs, including possible loss of money. ETFs' risks are similar to those of stocks. Investments in the tech sector are subject to greater risk and more volatility than more diversified investments. The NASDAQ 100 Index comprises the 100 largest non-financial companies on the NASDAQ. You can't invest directly into an index. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund investment objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more in prospectus at Invesco.com. Invesco Distributors, Inc.
A longer lifespan means a longer retirement. Be ready.
This is the truth about your future with Rick Edelman.